Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. Let me know you can hear me. I still don't trust StreamYard. Based on what happened the other day. I just need one yes that you can hear me. And then we can get going. Oh, I think we got a yes. We got a yes. All right, great. Whatever glitch StreamYard had the other day, I think it's resolved itself. Hopefully, anyway. Let's not speak too soon, though. All right, I do apologise to the majority of my viewers who will miss this live because over 70% of people who watch my channel are in the United States. So it's 9:30 in the morning for me. So at the very, very latest, it's going to be, 4:30 a.m. for those on the East Coast. And then it's going to be truly in the middle of the night for those on the West Coast. But I won't make this live stream too long so that it's watchable on the replay. So I'm gonna say a couple of hellos and then I'm gonna get straight into it. Yes, we're talking about the flashlights video again, but we do have some interesting information that came out overnight my time. So that's why I'm doing this live right now. Actually, I would have done it a little bit later to make it more accessible to those who wanted to watch it live, but I've got a bunch of stuff to do today, so to go live I had to do it now. So there we are. All right, so we got Aussie TV in the house, we got Mike. Yeah, so sick of the clique. I don't watch any of it. I just don't watch any of it. It's as simple as that. I stick to what we can prove. And where we speculate, it's based on the stuff we can prove. Hello, Krista. We've got unindicted co-conspirator. We've got, let's have a look. We got Christy. We got Debbie. We got Down Under with Love. Yeah. We're re-explaining everything. We're reinventing the wheel. I know it's tedious. It's tedious. But there is some new information. So we're not just going over all of the old stuff again. We got some new information, which is very, very useful. Hello, we are Dust. Yeah, it does take some patience. I get annoyed sometimes. I do, honestly. I snap sometimes. So my patience does wear thin. Hello, Jessica. We got... what else we got? Hummingbird from Missouri. Hello, Hummingbird from the north of England. We got Tracy. We got Kelly. Okay, we got a bunch of people. All right. Let me share my screen here. All right. We're going to start off. Actually, we're going to start off with the flashlights video just to remind you what the original was. For those who those who've forgotten what the original was. And I honestly wish that, so I'm just going to let it play through just the once. I wish that Nick Barris hadn't released this. This is the footage that Nick Barris released. So when was that? Way back, months and months and months ago. And there's been so much conjecture and tomfoolery that's gone on based on this video. So Nick Barris started all this. Nick Barris, who's the reporter from News Channel 5 Nashville, and he got this footage from a neighbour who lives on the corner of Stafford and Kelling. But this, what you're seeing on your screen, is just a tiny bit, like really, really zoomed in, a tiny bit of the actual footage. So it absolutely does look like there's moving people. It really does look like flashlights, like this subject 2. When this first came out, I remember doing a live stream saying, look, this subject 2 is moving towards the bushes. Subject 1 disappears and subject 2 moves towards the bushes. That's exactly what it looked like. So then it took Seth and Chris, because this corner here, it looks like bushes, like this kind of moving stuff. You think, oh, this is bushes moving in the wind, and subject 2 is moving towards the bushes. Seth and Chris came out and both said that law enforcement had told them that it was a trash truck. And nobody, including myself originally, nobody could believe that it was a trash truck. It didn't make sense that it was a trash truck. Now, this is the full view of what that camera caught. So I've twisted it a little bit so that you get this angle as it probably looks like. And this 2 lights here is stationary. And this light, which is Nick Barris's subject 1, is also stationary. They only look like they're moving because you only see this little portion of the video on Nick Barris's. So that's where we were at. That's where we were at until just a few hours ago. All of the speculation, all of the nonsense based on Nick Barris's very zoomed in, this very, very zoomed in video. People have said they can see people fighting. They've said that they can see just all sorts of nonsense, all sorts of nonsense. Now, there is a light. It's not on Nick Barris's original. This is Nick Barris's original. But some more footage came out, including this, like some you could see the movement, but from the full camera angle. And you can see Nick Barris's subject 2 kind of comes along the top of the screen here somewhere. And you could also see a light kind of turning on here somewhere, and then it turns off. And I originally thought that that was a car that was parked in the road. And it's still possible that it could be. However, it could also be the vehicle from this house. This light's on a house. So it's a security light on a house. It could also be a neighbour just, you know, turning on the lights and then driving away, going to work. All right, that's where we're at. Now, SF Investigates, 9 hours ago, I wrote this. Let's address the trash truck versus the flashlight video and the misinformation that Bullhorn Betty and allegedly with Brittany J continue to spread day after day as part of their grift. So I don't watch Bullhorn Betty. I don't watch allegedly with Brittany J. So whatever they've been saying, I don't care. I did. Who was it who was playing it? Was it Granny? Oh, nonsense. I can't remember who it was, who I was watching, who was playing clips from Bullhorn Betty. So when I say I never watched Bullhorn Betty, if somebody that I do watch is playing clips, then of course I get that content. But in relation to this, I have no idea what these guys have been saying. I've not watched them firsthand. Okay. Yes, I know who the 3 a.m. vehicles belong to and who is driving them. Bullhorn Betty and Brittany J are falsely claiming that these vehicles are part of the lights video captured on surveillance footage. They are wrong, as usual. So SF isn't pulling any punches here. That's probably SF is losing patience just like we all do. Okay. So what I could glean from the clip from Bullhorn Betty that was playing either on Brittany or Nonsense, not Brittany, Granny's watching or Nonsense, that Betty had taken something that SF said about a vehicle that left the area around 3 a.m. as being related to the flashlights and she concocted this story that there was a fight going on. So it all kind of fit in with what people have been saying about the flashlights video. But it's not true, because the flashlights video, you can see the timestamp here in the corner. Actually, you can't. I've cut this off. But it says 3:11. But it's stuck. Like the time on this is stuck. So if this light that comes along here is the trash truck, as Seth and Chris have been told. Now, listen, I don't know whether it was a trash truck. We're assuming it's a trash truck because law enforcement told Seth and Chris that it was a trash truck. And both Seth and Chris came out and said it was the trash truck. So I don't know whether Seth has changed his view. And also I know that Chris talked to Gray Hughes on the phone and explained it all to Gray Hughes. Right? So we've had from both sides, from Seth's side and from Chris's side, we've had some kind of explanation that this is a trash truck on Honeysuckle. So if I get the map up, and I've showed this so many times. But again, I said I wanted to concentrate on the new information, and I will in a second. But we've been told that the moving light, which would be Nick Berris's subject 2, is the trash truck going up and down Honeysuckle, which is here. And Honeysuckle is on a hill. So when you're on Honeysuckle, you can look down on Stafford Court. It's only a small hill, but yes, you can see things moving. Like from Stafford, you can see things moving on Honeysuckle. So if we go down here, what Chris explained to Gray Hughes, which turns out to be accurate, we believe, is that this camera here captured the road along here, captured this road. And the stationary lights, so this one and subject 1, which is off the screen at the moment. Hold on, let me find the clip of subject 1. There's subject 1. Subject 1 on Nick Berris's video looks to be moving because the person filming this is filming their screen on a phone. So this is the screen, and then someone's filming this screen on their phone to send the clip to Nick Berris, presumably. And as I said, you're only getting this tiny corner of the overall footage. So Nick Berris's subject 1 is actually a stationary light on, I think it's this one. I think it must be this one. So the 2 lights are on a house over here somewhere, and the stationary light is this one, possibly. Now, that's what Chris discussed with Gray Hughes, okay? So we've talked about that at length, numerous times. All right. So this is the new information. The trash truck was on Kelling at 5:01 a.m. and on Stafford Court near Sebastian's house at 5:12 a.m. Michelle is completely looking the wrong way. Michelle isn't looking the wrong way, Pincho. Michelle isn't looking the wrong way, as will become clear. The 2 lights are the white garage. They're not. The white garage were. Go on, I'll play along. The white garage were. Which white garage? This? This white garage? There's not 2 lights on there. There's a light there. Or is that a camera? And a light there. Difficult to tell. I can't zoom in any further. That's where I'm assuming the light that Nick Berris' subject 1 is. I can't prove it. I'm just assuming based on the camera angle, which we're going to get more into in a second. And then the 2 lights are on, must be on a house over here somewhere. So, no, the other white garage. The other white garage. The other white garage. Where's the other white garage? Where's the other white garage? This one? It can't be this one because the camera's there. So where's the other white garage? There? Because the camera isn't pointing in that direction. The white garage in the middle. That one? No. Don't think they are. I mean, look. The camera doesn't show this area. You're going to see that in a minute. You're going to see it in a minute. Because this is all new information. That makes things a lot clearer. That makes things a lot clearer. Have I watched Cluemanati's video? Yes. I'm going to play a clip from it. This is exactly where I'm going. All right. So, it has been rumoured that the trash truck came into the area around 5 a.m. and that has been now confirmed. But let's just keep going. It'll all become clear. All new information. It's a lot to digest. I'm going through it slowly. Okay, so 5:01 on Kelling and then 5:12 on Stafford near Sebastian's house. The lights video everyone is discussing was recorded at 5:09 to 5:10 a.m. We know this because the full uncut video, longer than the version seen publicly through Nick Barris, includes the trash truck turning onto and proceeding along its route on Stafford Court. Cletus, Crabtree and Clue. So Cluemanati. And I know some people don't watch Cluemanati. So you won't have seen what Cluemanati put out last night. I'm going to play a clip from it. The link to the full video is in the description for those who do want to go and watch it. Cletus is Clue's fiance, and then Crabtree, Stephen Crabtree, who has his own channel, who has been helping SF Investigates search. All right, so a kind of little group. So Cletus, Crabtree and Clue, along with the homeowner from the surveillance camera location, recreated the video. To make it as accurate as possible, since the original camera has been replaced, we first obtained the specification of the original camera. It had a 3.5mm lens with a 75-degree field of view. The mounting bracket revealed that approximately 18% of this view was essentially wasted by pointing at the wall of the house, leaving the remaining field of view as depicted in the image below. As you can see, we'll see it in a minute. I'll show you the screenshots that SF has put out. I'll show you the video that Cluemanati's put out, and it all becomes clear. As you can see, Sebastian's home and the area behind it are not within the camera's field of view. So there's no way that this area, so Sebastian's house, is there. All right, that's Sebastian's neighbour's house. So the light's not coming from there. It doesn't capture this area. Which makes me doubt now that subject one's this light. The camera is pointing this way. Right? It's unfortunate that, you know, you can't actually go up this drive to look at what the camera might see. But the camera is actually seeing this area right here. So subject one could be on this house, I think. But we'll see. But you can tell the camera is facing this way. All right. And this is from July 2023. So what's that? 4 months after Sebastian disappeared. No, March, April, May, June, July. 5 months after Sebastian. No. Sebastian disappeared in 2024. I'm getting my years wrong. So that's 5 months or 6 months before Sebastian disappeared. All right. Okay. As for what the lights are, we will leave that for everyone to decide on their own. Through extensive technical analysis, including precise measurements of pixels and the consistent distances between the lights as they move across the screen, we are confident in our conclusions. However, we are not going to disclose our findings at this time because it'll create even more drama. It'll create even more drama. The more people release, the more drama it creates. What is the news? This is what I'm explaining, Celia. This is what I'm explaining. Yeah, they work with the homeowner of the camera. So nobody's trespassed or anything. Nobody's gone and trespassed. All right. However, we are not going to disclose our findings at this time because you can't have nice things. You can't have nice things. Everyone is free to form their own opinions, but those opinions should at least be based on accurate information. What is being presented by irresponsible creators is not accurate. To reiterate, the 3 a.m. vehicles are accounted for and have nothing to do with the lights video, because that video was recorded between 5:09 and 5:10 a.m., 2 hours after the vehicles who moved around off Kelling and Stafford had been and gone. And the cops told us very early on that they'd accounted for all of the vehicles that left that area. They've accounted for them all. So we know that Chris didn't turn up. We know that Katie didn't go out in the middle of the night. How do we know that? Because there's only one way out. There's only one way out of Stafford Court, and that's via Kelling. All right, so Sebastian's house, there's only one way out. The only way you can go out is here. And vehicles get picked up on numerous cameras coming and going. You can't go out at the top there. You can't go out at the top of Kelling. I mean, you can now, because this construction is like underway, as long as you're prepared to go off road for a bit. But then you get picked up by cameras here, because there's only one way out of there. So they've been able to account for all of the vehicles that moved around that neighborhood that night. Okay. Attached are 2 still images of the actual trash truck from the morning of February 26, taken from security cameras we obtained from Kelling and Stafford Court. We have much more footage and additional angles to support our findings. Facts and evidence matter. We are guided solely by the facts and evidence, not by unfulfilled promises, fictional storylines, or fabricated bogeymen or women. Facts and evidence will lead us to Sebastian. This is going to be discussed in more detail on Cluemanati's Live, which is happening now. So we're going to play a clip from this in a minute. But these are the still images of the trash truck. All right, so there's the trash truck at 5:01 on Kelling. There's the trash truck. So you can see that it's got a light on the front and then it's got a light on the back. So if indeed Nick Berris's subject 2 is the trash truck on Kelling, it's going to be this light, most likely going to be this light that you can see. Most likely. Why? Because cameras don't pick up red light. Not very easily. And if they do, it just looks white anyway. So it's likely this light. So that's what the trash truck looked like on cameras on Kelling and Stafford. There's another image of it. Okay, now this is the camera's field of view. So this camera, this is its field of view on Stafford. So the subject one actually isn't this light. It's likely the light here, if there is one. And then the other two lights are going to be, as I've always thought, over here. So, like I've always thought, it's this light, but it doesn't see that house. So, it's got to be, you can't tell whether there's a light on that house, but it's got to be a light somewhere there, and then the two lights are a house somewhere here. I've always thought they were over there. So these two lights are on a house, and then subject one, which is actually stationary, it's got to be that house, but you can't tell where the light is, honestly, on that one. But the two lights are not that house, because the field of view is here, along here. So the subject one, the stationary light, it's got to be here, and then the other two lights are over here somewhere. So this camera's field of view doesn't even capture Sebastian's house. Doesn't capture Sebastian's house at all. So people who've made up stories about they can see a fight going on in the flashlights video and it's at Sebastian's house, it can't be, because this camera doesn't have Sebastian's house in its field of view. No, you are wrong. Those are the white garage doors. All right, okay. Don't believe it. Don't believe it then. I'm just going off what is factual. Okay. So I'm going to play a clip from Cluemanati. As I said, the link to this is already in the description. First, I'm going to tell you to hold a minute while I go and get myself a drink. Because I've got 3 cans of Pepsi on this desk and all of them are empty. So please hold. All right, I'm back. I had a drink. Okay, let's play Cluemanati. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check that my audio's connected. Says it is. All right, I'm going to find this clip. Let's turn this up a little bit. Okay, I've got to find. Oh, that's the wrong video. That's the wrong video. There we go. Okay. That was the wrong video. All right, we got the right video now. Thank you, undisclosed user. Thank you for the €2. The drink's on me. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we got the right video up now. I don't know how it got to the wrong video. It's weird. All right.
To 4 is that would be 18.7.
All right, I didn't take the timestamp. So let's right. So Cletus explains. And again, link is in the description. It's a very interesting conversation. I'm going to only play the little clip where Cletus explains the reenactment that they did. But later in this live stream, SF Investigates comes on and Stephen Crabtree comes on. So it's a very interesting discussion. So if you don't like Cluemanati, that's up to you. Right? I don't take sides. I just use information from anywhere where it's factual, where it's useful. All right. So if you don't like Cluemanati, I don't know what to tell you. All right. I don't know what to tell you. Actually, SF doesn't confirm it's a trash truck. He's just correcting the camera angle. He's not pointing towards the Profoot home. Yes, exactly. This is what SF Investigates said. You're exactly right. This is what I've just read. As for what the lights are, we will leave that for everyone to decide on their own. We only have been told that it's the trash truck because cops told Seth, who then told the world, and Chris, who then told Gray Hughes and had a discussion with Gray Hughes about where the trash truck was. And then Gray shared it with the world, presumably with Chris's approval, but Gray Hughes shared it with the world. So because we've been told by both Seth and Chris that this is a trash truck, those who've not played into all the nonsense have said, oh, well, okay, it's a trash truck. And it does make sense that it could be the trash truck on Honeysuckle. But I can only go off what Chris and Seth have said. SF Investigates is not going to say, he's just said, as for what the lights are, we will leave that for everyone to decide on their own. And that's exactly what the cops said. When Nick Berris asked Eric Craddock, the sheriff of Sumner County, asked him to his face what they were, and he said he wasn't going to say. So, again, we've only got Seth's and Chris's word that they were told by the cops that it was the trash truck, and they saw the video. And Seth even said that they showed him what that view looks like in the daytime. So they made it obvious where that light that's moving was. So, yeah, what SF and Cletus are explaining is the camera angle, and that the camera angle does not cover Sebastian's house. This is Sebastian's house. The camera angle does not cover Sebastian's house. So this is what Cletus is going to explain. That's what we're going to listen to here. Okay, I think I'm at around the right timestamp right now. Hold on. All right, so it's coming up now. It's coming up now. So Cletus explains the camera angle. The camera does cover Sebastian's house. It doesn't, Pinchot. It does not. You'll see in a minute. Yeah, the Ellie showing Seth the daylight shot seals it for me. Something none of us have seen. I wish they'd just release it, honestly. I wish that Nick Barris had never released the video in the first place, because Nick Barris started all this. He started all this. He's created masses of drama. But now that it's out, I wish that they'd just released the daytime view from that camera. But I think this explanation by Cletus makes perfect sense and explains... where am I? Explains this camera angle. So just be patient. There's no sound, really. Like the way I sound. All right. Can you hear Cluemanati? No sound now. All right. So StreamYard has messed up the audio yet again. Great. All right. Cool. Cool. Well, what we need to do is stop the screen share, reload the video, and then hopefully, once we reshare, the sound is back up. Right. Can you hear it?
Just be quiet until the day comes where you can be like, I could swear I've heard this somewhere. Like maybe months ago when I was like, that is wrong. And they're just like, hush, make me a sandwich. You know what I mean? So just sit back, because I got my W. I'm about to print out little W's that I'm going to.
All right, so you can hear that now. It's a StreamYard glitch. It does this sometimes when you're sharing videos. I have no idea why. No idea why. And all you have to do is basically turn it off and turn it back on again, and it works. It's weird. All right, so Cletus is coming on now to explain the camera angle. And hopefully it makes sense once you see what Cletus has done.
And vice versa, because I'm not that type of bitch. But once I get one, you're going to hand me one, and we're going to see which jar gets full first. The W. All right, let me turn this on, and I'm going to shut up, and you can speak.
So I've made it very clear since the beginning of this that flashlight, the whole flashlight, trash truck, whatever the fuck, the video that was put out, Nick Barris put it out, right? That there's just something that seems completely off to me in terms of what we're all chasing with it. And I'm included in that, right? When it came out that, you know, I hats off to the mob crew, because with what he had to work with, I think he did a great job of overlaying it. Ultimately, I've said.
Right, I'll just say this about the mob crew. I think I watched one of his videos, because he's done multiple with an overlay. I watched part of one. I don't think he even got through to the end. And I thought, you're wrong. You're absolutely dead wrong. The way that he was doing the overlay didn't make sense. So I didn't watch any more. But if you want to give him credit for trying, that's fine. That's your call. Because it does appear that we were all wrong. It does appear that we were all wrong. Like I said, I thought that this light was subject 1. It can't be, because the camera angle from this camera does not cover that house. Like it just got, I guess it gets the end of that house. Again, this will become clear in a minute.
Several times that, you know, it would just be awesome if somebody could go out there and fucking just get a recreation, get something, right? So we took it upon ourselves. We did what was needed to do, and we
Mob Clue got the overlay right. He did not, and you'll see this in a minute. You'll see this in a minute.
He did exactly that to the best of our ability.
First, do you want me to?
No, I want to go through this first.
Really?
Yeah, I do, and we'll show the recreation. So what we did is we went out there and we set up.
I turned him up, y'all. Can y'all still not hear him?
How about now? Is that better?
Try to talk.
Hello?
I can hear him very clearly.
Can they hear me now?
Yes.
Let me know if y'all can hear him or not.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear him. Get on with it.
Okay.
All right. So we went out there with the intent of trying to figure out exactly, number one, where is this camera looking is number one, right? And number two, what could it be, right? Is the whole trash truck thing bullshit? Is it not? Like, what are we looking at? What have we all deciphered for 9 months as what this is? So we went out there and we got footage from a night vision camera that we own, and tried to recreate scenarios that could replicate it, right? I don't know if we got it replicated or not, but what I'm extremely confident in is we figured out what we've all been looking at the wrong way forever. So when she gets done typing, she will click the next slide. Betty, this is how you do a slideshow, by the way, just so you know. So this is the biggest still frame that we could get out of the original video that got put out. And the idea was to try to get the best perspective of the original video. So this is what it looked like in the widest angle possible. Go to the next one. So what we've found out is that camera at that time, and mind you, this guy's got a much better camera now. So just so that's known that we're not, you know, putting anything out that's impeding on his safety or anything like that. This is not even his system right now. But anyway, the camera itself had a 75-degree field of view.
All right. So the camera that was on the house, this house, at the time Sebastian disappeared, had a 75-degree field of view, right? So it wasn't like massively wide angle. And the field of view covered this area. This is what Cletus is going to explain, right? But we're taking this very slowly, step by step. No, there were no lights in the yard, Bamacat. Have the lights been seen in the yard since February 25th, early morning, February 26th? There's no lights in any yard. Get that out your head. There's no lights in a yard. None. Zero zilch. There's no white garage doors on the footage either. So get that out your head too. Okay, cool. Moving on.
When we look at that image on the left-hand side, or basically split into fours, that would be 18.75 degrees would be a quarter of it. And you can look right there and see that the wall is damn near eating up almost a quarter of the field of view, right? So go to the next one.
I don't know how in the hell you do this.
So if we just say, all right, it's not 18 degrees, it's a little less, and we just say 15 degrees of the field of view is nothing but the wall. That leaves 60 degrees of a field of view that we could be looking at from that camera.
All right, so breaking this down. This camera, when Sebastian disappeared, had a 75-degree field of view. But part of that was eaten up by the wall, this wall, because the camera, I can't zoom in anymore, But this camera, you can see that it's facing this way. It's been set up to overlook these vehicles, right? To protect their vehicles. So part of that field of view, so like let's say 15 degrees, was eaten up because the camera, all it was capturing was this wall. So we're now working at roughly 60-degree field of view because some of it's been eaten up by the wall. All right, cool. Moving on.
Right. So go to the next one. So when we take and we put a 60-degree angle from that house looking out to the right, this is what we see. And 60 degrees intersects 1006. Now that's the house with the garage that everybody has said the two lights were from, that everybody's used as a point of reference. The problem with that is that the original footage everybody's been looking at, they put those two lights to the left, and that's not possible. Go to the next one. So if you look at that, right, the original field of view, from the right edge, you got to go about 20 degrees to get to those two lights. All right, which leaves 40 degrees from the wall, right? So go to the next one. So when we draw a 40-degree angle from that wall, we get an entirely different house, right? So now go to the next one. So at the end of the day, 40 degrees from that wall cannot be 1006 Stafford, which means that what everybody's been chasing as flashlights or whatever the hell cannot be coming from the back of Chris and Katie and Sebastian's house, because it's not even in the field of view of this picture. There is no common area. There's nothing in there. What we're looking at is the edge.
He's not looking in the wrong direction, Pincho. Just open your mind. He's not. It makes perfect sense. You'll see it in a minute. Just take it slowly. Just take out anything that you've believed. Take out everything that you've believed and just listen. And if you want to go and listen to it all again after, I'd advise you to, please do. Because I've listened to this twice. And having listened to it twice, so this is my third listen, I understand exactly what he's talking about. It makes perfect sense. It's just basic geometry. It makes no sense. All right. If it doesn't make sense to people who are not just listening, who've got it already in their head what they believe. Just take everything out your head. Just start with a completely blank slate. You know, just take away anything that the mob crew said, or anything that Betty has said, or anything that anybody else has said, even me. Take out anything I said and just look at it as new information. Right? Just look at it as new information. Because I've always said, I think Ray Hughes said as well, that Nick Berry's subject 1 is a light on this house. It can't be. It can't be, because the camera doesn't capture. So with a 75-degree field of view, taking off 15 degrees because it's only seeing the wall, it then takes the field of view to here, to along here. So the two lights that people are saying is the garage doors of a house. It can't be. It's not. Like, where's 106? Let's find 106. What house is that? That's 106. Right. So people who've been saying that the two lights are on 106, it can't be. It can't be. It's not 106. I've never thought that the two lights were on 106. I've always said that it looks like the two lights, we've got a different year. It looks like the two lights are over here somewhere. I don't know which house. It doesn't matter which house, but they're over here somewhere. But I've always assumed that this camera had a wide angle, and therefore the two lights were over here, that subject one light was here, and then the light, if you want to believe it's a trash truck, is moving along this tree line. Obviously in February, you're not going to be able to see, you know, there's no leaves on the trees. So you see lights on honeysuckle clearer. But the camera has a narrower angle than I think any of us have believed. So you're not seeing this house at all. And 106, there's no way that the two lights can be here. All right, moving on.
Edge of 1006 on the very far right. The two lights that you see in the middle there that the arrow is pointing to are actually landscape lights on another house in the subdivision. Go to the next one.
And just wait, because we did do a recreation video, and it is legitimately spot on. You're going to see it.
So like I said, that
How does he know the camera has a 75-degree angle? Probably because he looked at the specification of what that camera like views. So SF Investigate says here that they looked at the specification. Here we go. So Cletus, Crabtree and Clue, along with the homeowner from the surveillance camera location, recreated the video to make it as accurate as possible. Since the original camera has been replaced, we first obtained the specification of the original camera. So you just look at the specification of what it can see. It had a 3.5mm lens with a 75-degree field of view. So if you buy a camera, it tells you its specification, right? So that's how we know. The mounting bracket revealed that approximately 18% of this view was essentially wasted by pointing at the wall of the house. So that's what Cletus has just explained. Okay, so now he's going to show you where those lights are based on his own recreation. Okay.
that light there is the garage light from 1006 Stafford, and we know this, you know, this is all of our opinion, allegedly, but by God, we went out there and redid it. I can speak fairly confidently in this, right?
So I think what he's saying is that Nick Berris's subject one at the very right-hand side, so you can't even see it on this. So I'm going to show you this. This subject one is actually a fixed light, and that's on the very right-hand side of the camera's field of view. Therefore, it has to be, this is the far right of the camera's field of view. So the single light, Nick Berris's subject one, is a light from this house. So the two lights must be over here somewhere. Do you get me? So the camera is looking there. So the very right hand side of the field of view just clips this house. So doesn't cover the common area, doesn't cover Sebastian's house, because you can tell that the camera is facing this way. So it's capturing this area, just clipping this house. The very right hand is clipping this house. So the two lights, more over to the left, are on one of these houses. So the whole point of doing this is to say there's no way that any of those lights could be at Sebastian's house or in the common area behind Sebastian's house or to the side of Sebastian's house. They cannot be. Right.
So you can't see Sebastian's house. You can't see a common area in this field of view at all.
Which, by the way, there are no common areas in that neighborhood. Everyone owns their fucking property up until the neighbor's property, right? There is no common area, like, but that is what we call it because it is like an area in between the houses or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if you own right up to, you know, the neighbour's boundary, some of those houses are fenced in, like a fenced in yards, like Sebastian's has got a fenced in backyard, presumably for the dogs, because they have 2 dogs. But some of those houses, they're not fenced in, right? So essentially it looks like a common area because technically you could walk through it without having to climb any fences, but they are actually owned by the homeowner. So if you lived in that area and just decided to walk your dog along there, quite rightly, the homeowner would tell you to get lost because it's not common. Like around here where I live, we have common areas. Like we have fenced in like yards, but there are common areas where anybody can use, right? But not so on Stafford Court. Okay, cool.
Even though that's wrong.
I don't know why in the hell I left that one in there. Oh, go back real quick. So this is the original still frame again, right? So the lights in the top to the right, that is landscape lights.
Here?
No, to the top, to the right there. Those are landscape lights is what they are from a house in the subdivision, right? The light to the right of that is what everybody has been speculating about, or one of the lights everybody's been speculating about. What you're going to see in a minute is that's actually a fixed light on a gable of another house in that subdivision, and the light on the right is actually the garage light of 1006 that everybody has misinterpreted.
Right. So, as I said, the light on the right-hand side is not this one, as I originally thought. It's a light on this one. This is 1006. So the extreme right-hand side, the light at the extreme right is on this house. So the 2 lights that you see have to be over here because they are more to the left. Why would they film themselves? Who? Why would who film themselves? What is the height of the camera on the house? Did they mention that? Wait and see. I don't know what the height of this is. I guess I could measure it on Google Earth if you wanted to, but wait and see. Watch this recreation. I'm doing this very slowly because this is all new information and it's blowing a lot of people's preconceived ideas out of the water, including mine, because I thought Nick Barris' subject 1 was the light from that corner house. It's not. It's not, because that camera is not wide angle. Okay, cool.
So go to the next one. So this is the still frame from the footage that we took when we went out there trying to recreate this. And you can see where the lights that everybody's used as the original point of reference are actually located, so that everybody understands.
Okay, now I'm going to show you legitimately the video that we recreated, and it is let me play this first to make sure. Okay, hold on.
How does this change the headlight video? That's a good question. That's a good question, because we've always thought, we've talked about the headlight video. So what we mean by the headlight video is that a light comes on, and I thought originally that the light came on a car here on the road, And then I became compelled and persuaded by people who said, no, it's this it's this driveway here. And someone like at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, it is the time when some people go to work, put their headlights on and left, like presumably for work or whatever. So it can't be this house. So the headlights have to have come on from this house. They must have come on from this house. Or let's go around the corner here. Yeah, look. So that house has got a driveway there. So the headlight video, that must be this house 106. Is that a light? That is possibly a light. So the headlights must have been at this house. So somebody leaving this house. So yeah, the headlights are on the road in front of the camera. Well, they're not on the road. They're on a driveway, but they're on this driveway. They must be on this driveway. They must be. Okay, moving on. Light the way. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. That's very, very kind. So we're all mad here. Christina, Claudia, It Is What It Is, and Smarties Enchanted Crafts. So thank you so much, Light the Way, and welcome you guys. Go and check out the members area. Got lots of videos on there. Okay, back up to this.
How do I? Okay. Now, in this, is that it? Yeah. Okay. So the footage that comes in on the left is the original footage, the only original footage that we have, right, of the quote unquote flashlights. And then on the right is footage that we have from the recreation.
All right, so that what they've tried to do is match up the angle that the original camera saw. So they've got, like SF Investigators has said, to make it as accurate as possible, since the original camera has been replaced, we first obtained the specification of the original camera. It had a 3.5mm lens with a 75-degree field of view. The mounting bracket revealed that approximately 18% of this view was essentially wasted by pointing at the wall of the house. Okay. So on the right-hand side, this is the footage that Cletus took from a camera with the same specification. And it's angled as much as they could make it in the same direction that this is from the original footage. So the left-hand side is the original footage. The right-hand side is as much as they could make it the same angle. I mean, it's not quite the same angle because this camera was on some kind of tilt, but it's as near as they could get it, right? And obviously the truck's in a different place because it's just been parked in a different place. All right. What we're focusing on here is the position of the lights.
And this is in no way, shape, or form intended to be a 100% factual. This is the recreation of the twinkling lights in the original video.
Yeah.
We were primarily trying to show and get a true point of reference for what the hell we've all been looking at forever and figure out, is there something to it or is there not?
And if you can see, like I circled right here, those are those landscape lights. Those are the same landscape lights on the other video. They are not from over the garage on that other home at all whatsoever, right? It literally, that's them.
Yeah, SF says the homeowner doesn't have the same system anymore, but the camera mounting bracket is still attached to the home. Yes. So it's the same mounting bracket, but he has changed the camera. Unusual time for a live with me. Yeah, I said at the beginning I had to go live at this time because I've got stuff like on later. So I did apologize to people who don't normally get up this early. So again, this is the original video.
And see, like they start zooming in or whatever, but again, they're zooming in on those landscape lights on a home. I don't know how far I made that thing. So.
All right, so that's short. That's the headlight. That's the headlight. So there's Nick Berry's subject 1. That's the headlight. All right, okay. So let's go back here. So if we take that, so that's the extreme right. The 2 lights are over here somewhere. So then where's the headlight? So that's the light from 1006. There's the headlight. So it actually could be, looking at this, this looks much closer than it being the house at 1006. So I think this is possibly on the road in front of this house. I can't say for sure, but it does look more like it is coming from, oh shit, a light from a vehicle in front of this house. Because it's like bigger. So if you say that's the field of view, I'm going to have to try and work that out. But it doesn't matter because all the vehicles that came and went from Stafford and Kelling have all been accounted for. So if someone happened to be going to work at 5 a.m., that would be what it was. But which house it came from, I'm kind of not sure. Because this light is now 1006, not the house on the corner. Interesting. I have to think about that.
So let me take it down. Oh no, I was supposed to still show it. Okay, my bad. And if you look right here, that is that stationary light. Let me go
Which
back.
is actually it's on a gable of a neighboring house. So
right.
I'm not going to give addresses or anything like that, but that we definitely went out there and figured out what the hell we're all looking at, right? Regardless of what it means or anything, at least now I feel confident in saying we know what we're seeing in terms of a direction in that video.
Agreed, 100%. It is not looking where people thought it was looking. It is not looking at the area between the houses, blah, blah. It literally, which I've been saying this, I'm just in my defense, the view seems like it's more to like the left, right? Like looking down the road instead of straight in front.
Well, and I mean, in fairness, right? We've all assumed a field of view, and I think Chris with the mob crew had made some level of assumption with the field of view. And when we found out what the actual field of view was, it shocked the shit out of me because I thought it was something like 120 degrees. And
so did I. So did I. I thought it would be like wide angle, and it would capture like. It would capture the whole like this all the way. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's only 75 degrees. So the extreme right is here. This house. So everything that you see on that footage is around here. So if you draw a line to there, that's the extreme right. And then everything else is around here. So everything that happens in that footage has to be around here. Everything that you think you see is around here, not over here. I think that is the take home from this new information. And this is brand new information because we've finally got some clarity, at least on where the camera can see. Because I've said, I wish we could see what that camera saw in the daytime. And then you could have a genuine overlay. Like the mob crew has used for his overlay a scene from Google. Now, it's not the same angle. You can't get the same angle on Google Earth. You just can't. You just can't because the Google car is on the road. The Google car is low down. It's on a vehicle. If you've ever seen the Google car, like going around, right? But the camera is at least, I don't know what, 7 foot high, maybe? I don't know. Could measure it on Google Earth. I'm on Google Maps at the minute. So you can't get the same angle. You can't get the same angle. But now, at least we know that any overlay that is attempted using Google has to take the angle to be this being the extreme right. And then everything else that happens is in this field of view. Like, I wish we could get a scene from what that exact camera on this house could see in the daytime. Now, the homeowner has changed the camera, but if they had any footage from the previous camera, it would be great just to have a shot of what that camera angle was like in the day. And then that would be a genuine tool to use as an overlay. Like if that was released, a daytime view from that exact camera, I would do an overlay video. I've never done an overlay video because any overlay that you try to take from a daytime view is from Google and it's not accurate. Not accurate. I'm telling you, not accurate. So anything the mob crew did, however valiant an attempt it was wrong. Because we were all wrong about this light. So at least now we have some clarity. Thank you, Dulcie Marie, for being a member for 33 months. Thank you so much. That's a long time. So that will put the moving lights in front of the house. No, it doesn't. Well, if you mean Sebastian's house, no. Sebastian's house cannot be, is not on the field of view of that camera. The extreme right is this house. Sebastian's house is behind that house. So any lights moving from Sebastian's house, you'd never see them on this camera. Because the field of view is like that. Extreme right, and then everything that happens is over here. This area. So if we look at this map from SF, can you see? I mean, I think SF is even a bit out because the extreme right is here. But I mean, obviously it's approximate, but it's just using basic geometry that is measured a 75 degree. But remember that some of this is cut off because of the camera's actually seeing the wall. But the moving light is over this way. The moving light that you see is over this way. Don't mind measuring the height. Hold on, I'll measure it. Hold on. The height of that camera. Oh, I'm going to have to change how I share this for Google Earth. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay. So this is the one with all my pins in it. On the right here. There we go. All right. So again, this is only going to be approximate. Okay, measure. So we'll do it in feet. Why is it doing this? Oh, it's not going to let me measure it because it doesn't measure from Street View. Oh, so I can't. I can't, I'm afraid. Thank you, Dulcie Marie, for gifting 5 memberships. That's very kind of you. Patricia, Soph, Peaches, Janet, and Deb. Welcome, everybody. And thank you, Dulcie. Very kind of you. Check out the members area. No, can't do it. I didn't realise. I've never tried to do it before. But no, when you go down to Street View, it doesn't allow you to measure anything. But I would put that at, what, 7 foot? Like, how high is a garage door? How high is like a standard garage door? Maybe that's a little bit higher. 8 foot? I don't know. It's not that high, is it? But it's absolutely clear that it's pointing this way. Like the way that it's just mounted, it's pointing this way. And because it's not a wide angle camera, it's not captured any of this area at all, as we all originally thought. All right, let's go back to the original screen share. I don't think I need to play much more of this. They go on to talk about, what's this bit? Oh, I'll just play this bit and then I'll call it because I've got to go out in a minute, in a bit. But it's very, very interesting. The whole conversation is interesting. Like SF Investigates comes on, as you can see there, and Stephen Crabtree, and they go into more detail. Right, I'm just directing people to this video because it's very, very, very important. It's very important. And I know that not everybody watches Cluemanati, and you know, suspend all your beliefs. Just suspend all your beliefs and listen, because I'm convinced by this. That this gives us now, at the very least, it gives us some clarity on what that camera actually saw and where those lights are. And it's important because it proves that whatever those lights were, like we know that the stationary lights were just lights on houses, whatever that moving light was, whether it's the trash truck that Chris and Seth were told, or whether it's something else, what we absolutely know is it wasn't at Sebastian's house. That's what we know, 100%. Let me just play just this second. I just want to see what they're talking about here. I can't remember.
Trash truck on Honeysuckle and all that. I mean, it kind of seems.
Oh, yeah. So it's about the trash truck. All right. Just go back a second here.
Right before the trash came through. So, you know, in terms of the whole thing about it was a trash truck on Honeysuckle and all that, I mean, it kind of seems to track. It kind of does, right? Do I think that the lights in that video are a trash truck? I have no fucking idea. But I'm just saying the questions we asked, the answers we got, it seems like it does make sense. As far as the car lights that everybody was chasing and Betty was trying to plug a QX80 in between a fucking tree and lights on the ground, it pretty much seems like it's a car in a driveway when the person's coming out to get ready to go to work. In fact, when we were out there, somebody in a driveway came to their car, cranked it, turned their lights on, and damn if it doesn't look almost identical.
There you go. So he's not going to say which house, but someone while they were out there turned their lights on their vehicle and it looked the same as what the headlights do on the video. So again, it doesn't matter which house it was, as long as we can be clear that none of those lights were at Sebastian's house, because you can't see Sebastian's house, any part of Sebastian's house, any part of the back of Sebastian's house on that camera, because it only had a 75-degree angle, and the extreme right of that angle only manages to clip 1006. The average door is about 7 foot in America. All right, so the camera's going to be, what, 7.5, 8 foot high. I think there are maybe 7 foot here as well. Just think, you know, garage door. When I go out later, if I remember, I'll take a tape measure and measure a garage door. Not that it's really necessary, because the aim of this is to say none of what people have hypothesized, none of what people have seen, quote unquote, on the flashlights video, none of it is accurate. At least we now know what the actual camera angle was, what that camera could actually see. And the light that's moving, so Nick Barris is subject to, it does appear that possibly it was indeed the trash truck around 5:09 to 5:10 on Honeysuckle. So we don't know for sure. The cops haven't confirmed it, but it's looking likely that it could be, as the cops told Seth and Chris. As Seth told the world, and then Chris told Gray Hughes, who then made a video about it. So it does track. So I'm happy with the explanation that has been given here as to the angle of the camera. And hopefully people will watch this again, go to this video and watch the whole conversation. Watch it twice, watch it 3 times, get the map out yourself, and just look at what that camera can actually see. And you'll realize that nothing that has been said, none of these overlay videos, none of them have been accurate, none of them. So this is very, very, very useful information. Very useful. So we've got what the trash truck looks like when it was on Kellen and Stafford. So this is what the trash truck actually looks like. Whoops. Actually looks like. That's what it looks like. It's got a light on the top. It's got a light there. Thank you, Patricia, for the $5. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. So if indeed Nick Berris' subject 2 was the light from the trash truck on Honeysuckle, it's likely to have been this light on the top. This is what the trash truck looks like as it passed Kellen. That's what it looks like from another angle. So we know that, according to SF, that I'm going to read this post again. I'll read it all again in a minute, but the trash truck was on Kellen at 5:01. It passed Sebastian's house at 5:12. And the lights video was recorded between 5:09 and 5:10. So if indeed Nick Berris' subject 2 is the trash truck on Honeysuckle, it was 5:09 to 5:10. It is not at the 3 o'clock hour, because people have consistently forgotten or ignored the fact that the clock on the camera from that corner house is stuck at 3:11. So let me read this whole post again before I leave. Let's address the trash truck versus flashlight video and the misinformation that Bullhorn Betty and allegedly with Brittany J continue to spread day after day as part of their grift. Yes, I know who the 3 a.m. vehicles belong to and who is driving them. Betty and Brittany are falsely claiming that those vehicles are part of the lights video captured on surveillance footage. They are wrong, as usual. The trash truck was on Kellen at 5:01 a.m. and on Stafford near Sebastian's house at 5:12. The lights video everyone is discussing was recorded at 5:09 to 5:10. So, if Nick Berris' subject 2 is indeed the trash truck on Honeysuckle, it was at 5:09 to 5:10, not in the 3 o'clock hour. We know this because the full uncut video, longer than the version seen publicly through Nick Berris, includes the trash truck turning onto and proceeding along its route on Stafford Court. Cletus, Crabtree and Clue, along with the homeowner from the surveillance camera location, recreated the video to make it as accurate as possible. Since the original camera has been replaced, we first obtained the specifications of the original camera. It has a 3.5mm lens with a 75-degree field of view. The mounting bracket revealed that approximately 18% of this view was essentially wasted by pointing at the wall of the house. That's what Cletus explained, leaving the remaining field of view as depicted in the image below that we've seen. As you can see, Sebastian's home and the area behind it are not within the camera's field of view. What some people mistakenly thought was Sebastian walking behind the house is not possible because that area is not visible in the footage. As for what the lights are, we will leave that for everyone to decide on their own. I think, personally, my opinion, I think it does track that it could indeed have been the trash truck on Honeysuckle. It could be something else. I can't prove it. It just seems consistent with what the cops told Seth and Chris. Through extensive technical analysis, including precise measurements of pixels and the consistent distances between the lights as they move across the screen, we are confident in our conclusions. However, we are not going to disclose our findings at this time. Everyone is free to form their own opinions, but those opinions should at least be based on accurate information. What is being presented by irresponsible creators is not accurate. So at least now we can all move forward with the correct information. We've all misinterpreted that lights video. I have, because I assumed that camera was wide angle. It's not. It's not a wide angle camera. So I'm very grateful to SF and to Cletus for clearing this up. This has been really, really useful, because at least now we can move forward knowing exactly what that camera saw. So to reiterate, the 3 a.m. vehicles are accounted for and have nothing to do with the lights video, because that video was recorded between 5:09 and 5:10. Attached are 2 still images of the actual trash truck from the morning of February 26, taken from surveillance cameras we obtained from Kellen and Stafford Court. We have much more footage and additional angles to support our findings. Facts and evidence matter. We are guided solely by the facts and the evidence, not by unfulfilled promises, fictional storylines, or fabricated bogeymen and women. Facts and evidence will lead us to Sebastian. This is going to be discussed in more detail on Cluemanati's live, which is happening right now. So that's what where the clips come from. It's called Mystery Lights or Missed Camera Angle. And the link to it is in the description box of this video. And I strongly recommend you go and listen to it. Like, there's just some banter at the beginning. So where does he start? So it's around 21 minutes or so. And then the rest of the video is interesting because after Cletus has explained what I've talked about, then SF and Crabtree come on. And it's a long discussion. I'm going to go and listen to... I've watched the lights bit. It's now my third time, but I've only listened to this discussion once, but I am going to go and listen to it again. So I'm going to leave it there because I've got to go out shortly. And I'm going to make sure that this is, short enough for people to watch on the replay, because the majority of my viewers are probably only just getting up right now. But you can all watch this on the replay. So let me know what you think in the comments. And everyone's entitled to their opinion. Please be respectful if you have a different opinion. That's all I ask. It's fine to have a different opinion as long as you're respectful about it. Discuss it with others, as people have been doing in this chat. But it makes sense to me. It absolutely makes sense to me. And it shows, in my opinion, that nothing in that lights video is relevant to Sebastian's disappearance. That, above anything, I think is the take home from this very useful and interesting information. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. So thank you all. Thanks, as always, to the mods. And thank you to those that donated earlier on in the live stream. Welcome to the new members and enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, what will it be? Episode 17 of Cold Case Christmas is coming out on Michelle Walks, as usual. Oh, this one is a strange one. It's a heartbreaking one because it involves a little boy, but it's a strange one. So it will come out at 6 p.m. UK time over on Michelle Walks. So that'll be like 1 p.m. Eastern and then whatever in your local time. So, all right. I've got to record episode 18. It's weird. I've already recorded episode 19 and 20. But I've not recorded episode 18, which is due to come out tomorrow yet, because it's one that I've had to collect a lot of footage from. So I've got to go and do that later. So I'm now wasting time. So thank you all, and I will see you very soon. Bye, guys.